Senior Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam has put his name in the hat to be Singapore's next president. He had an exchange of letters with Prime Minister Loong, where he notified PM Lee that he's stepping down from all government positions from 7th of July. He'll also resign from the People's Action Party. Well, PM Lee thanked Mr Tharman for his service for the past 40 years, calling his resignation a heavy loss to the cabinet. Mr Lee added that he is confident Mr Tharman will exercise his duties independently if elected. And this is what Mr Tharman had to say this evening as he spoke to the media in the wake of the announcement.
I put myself forward to serve to the best of my ability, using all my experience in economics, in finance, in international affairs, and the standing I have internationally. I put myself forward to serve Singaporeans in this new role. Not a political role, but a different one that has to be above politics. It has to be above politics. And I feel the time is now right for me to serve in this role and keep the Singapore system strong, keep our social compact strong by being that unifying figure and ensuring that the integrity of the system is here to last.
Mr Tharman said it was a difficult decision as he has been comfortable as a policymaker. He says he only came to a decision after several months of careful thought, and especially with Singapore entering what he calls a fundamentally different era.
The world is now set up for crises. Economic crises, pandemics, which are going to keep coming, but most worryingly, geopolitical conflict. Frictions, tensions, sometimes maybe even overt conflict. And we've got to hold our own as Singapore. Very small country, strong reputation, built up over the years, but we've got to hold our own so that the population holds together. We can still do well as Singaporeans and feel good about being Singaporeans.
As the world changes, Mr Tharman says the key to keep Singapore united is keeping the social compact strong, regardless of race, religion or political leanings. And he believes he can play that unifying role within Singapore's system of governance as president.
At a time when people have more varied views, more varied preferences, even more varied politics, and most importantly, of course, a unifying figure in a multiracial society. That's precious to Singapore. Our most important asset, a multiracial society. And the president has to be a unifying figure in that regard as well.
And for more, we're joined by Associate Professor Eugene Tan from the SMU School of Law. Professor Tan, Mr Tharman has had a long and illustrious political career. What can we expect from him as a potential successor to President Halimah Yacob?
I think Mr Tharman will bring that force of personality, that independent-mindedness, the common man touch, to his role as president if he is elected. I think there is no doubt, that he will be a formidable candidate, in the upcoming presidential election. But I think what remains to be seen, is whether there will be a contest and whether Singaporeans will head to the polls. But I think, it has sparked interest in the presidential election. Having someone like Mr Tharman, of his caliber, his stature to run, I think will add, to the presidency.
Now, Mr Tharman, he's also talked about how, he wants to be this unifying figure, especially in our sort of multiracial society. What do you think will be some of the biggest challenges he will be facing?
Otelli, the presidency is conceived, as a symbol of Singapore's multiracialism and national unity. And so I think, when we look at the geopolitical turbulence, where countries larger countries are putting pressure on smaller states, when we look at the sort of political changes that are also going across Singapore, it's a more diverse, contested political landscape. I think, the role of the president, as a unifier, right, non-partisan, someone that Singaporeans can identify with regardless of their political leanings, race, religion, or class, I think that will play, the presidency will play a much more important role. I mean, it always has, right? But I think when you look at the changes that are now sweeping across the world, I think there is a case, to be made that the elected presidency will play an even more important role in the years ahead.
All right, we'll come back to you again in a short bit, Eugene. Well, political leaders and members of parliament have taken to social media to thank Mr Tharman for his contributions to Singapore. A senior minister, Hsien, who worked closely with Mr Tharman for more than 25 years in cabinet and the education ministry, also sent his best wishes to Mr Tharman as he seeks to serve the country in a new capacity. The Speaker of Parliament, Tan Chuan Jin, thanked Mr Tharman for his years of service to the nation and also for the guidance when Mr Tan first entered politics at the Manpower Ministry.